Securing the internet of AI. Today's video is all about HYPERCYCLE. We're going to be doing a deep dive into this project, figuring out whether it is worthy of us to buy the dip and accumulate here in the bottom of the range in this bear market. We're going to be looking at some of the fundamentals, some of the details into this project, and really get fundamentally bullish. So you know what? Let's get right into it. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins. But today, we're going to be doing a deep dive, figuring out whether AI HYPERCYCLE is the project for us. Should we be accumulating here at the bottom of the range? Is it a really bullish project? Guys, we're going to be going through the website. We're going to be looking at some of the factors that may give us some bullish indications. Maybe there's some shortcomings. Guys, it's very important that we get fundamentally bullish in every of the projects that you decide to scale into in this bear market, because at the end of the day, the projects could be very volatile, and I want to make sure that we stay one step ahead. I want to make sure that we protect our capital, and one of the ways to do it is do that fundamental research. So let's get right into it. Let's do this. What is HYPERCYCLE? Okay, so HYPERCYCLE, at the end of the day, it is an AI project. It is a project that integrates AI into, let's say, a consensus mechanism that basically allows individuals to create projects on this network. The project allows us to integrate AI, and at the end of the day, allows those projects to use AI for decision making. So there is a very, very important aspect about this, is that it's basically integrates AI into the network and allows AI to be used as a tool and as a way of augmenting the decision making behind the projects that are on this network. Now, there's a couple of things that we gotta be very, very clear on. Now, number one is the consensus mechanism. It is very, very unique. Haven't seen much about it, and we're gonna get into that a little bit more details, of course. And in addition, the nodes, the aspect of how this network operates, is also very, very new and innovative. And at the end of the day, it is similar to a proof of work, but not really, because it's a proof of basically, we'll get right into it. Don't worry, guys. We're going to look at it. It's just very, very unique. It's a very interesting thing. How does it work? There's a lot of details here, and monetize with machine. Obviously, you can get a node going. There's a lot of options here for you to get involved. The node is like $94. Let's see. To be honest, my first impression was this website needs a little bit of reworking. Why? It's a little bit disjointed, and I know I say this quite a bit on my deep dives, and it's genuinely because a lot of the times the people that are creating the websites are basically programmers, and they don't focus too much on the marketing aspect, focusing on retail. When retail looks at this looks really, really intense. And in fact, as an investor, you want retail investors to get involved, not just tech savvy individuals, because the reality is they only represent a small portion of the market. And you really want to make this a little bit more, and I'll give them kudos for making a video and having a lot of other resources to get in touch is definitely there. You're able to get in touch very easily. They do their best, but it needs to be scaled down a little bit. All of the technical jargon, it really takes time to get involved. And of course, this is the team. The team is fully doxed, really intense, really experienced. I did look at some of their LinkedIn accounts, really, really intense guys here. So one thing that I did notice when I was doing previous deep dives is a lot of the times they don't have any blockchain specialists. In this case, you're full of it. They're full of blockchain chief AI scientist. Dr. Ben, he's definitely on it. He has a lot of experience, and the CEO is definitely on it. He's got a lot of experience. So that's what we kind of want. We want a team that has a lot to offer and a lot of backing with regards to experience, especially with this new type of innovation. You want to have this back end type of backing with a group of people that are definitely willing to or basically have the backing to support this project from the ground up. So this is really good. And why I say the ground up, because this project is really, really, really new. It's a very small market cap. There's nothing really built on it just yet. The overall network is empty. There's nothing there. It's pretty much proof of concept still, until we get an actual ecosystem going here. It is still proof of concept, and you notice that the website itself doesn't have much to offer other than a few things. This is the homepage, guys. You can scroll down really quick, and there's nothing really. That's it. But a little bit more would have been good. Okay, we'll get into a little bit more details. Let's go to the technology page. Um, and the key term that I wanted to bring to you guys, a couple things here. Let's see if I can find it quick. Um, okay, so there's a couple partnerships. Might as well talk about that. Of course, the heavyweight for me personally is Singularity Net. That is really good. We know if you've been doing a bit of research on Singularity Net, they are the heavyweight currently in the AI space. So that's really, really good. Getting that partnership going just gives this project a little bit more credibility, and vice versa. The back basically bouncing the support off of one another. And then Toda. Toda is an interesting concept as well. It is basically a internet protocol, a network of decentralized internet protocol projects. And as that ecosystem could integrate into Hypercycle's ecosystem in the sense that now those projects can use AI through Hypercycle, which I find very interesting. So they already have, or if you look into the details and look into what the CEO is all about, he's basically all about Toda. He's basically the founder of Toda as well. So he has a deep connection with this peer-to-peer network that is decentralized already. And what he's thinking of doing, in my opinion, through this partnership is basically bringing the Hypercycle network, in this case, into Toda, which would be really good. And of course, coupling up with Singularity Net is obviously very, very bullish. Really interesting stuff here. As far as further partnerships and things like that, guys, there's no real roadmap on this website, unfortunately. I usually look for a roadmap. Usually it's up front and center. There's a lot happening there, which would be great. And another thing that I don't like, guys, I have to be critical here. Obviously, I'm trying to be as open and objective as possible. I don't want to have any bias here. But what I do see is a couple of wordings that I don't like. It's misleading a bit. We are fortunate to work alongside numerous exceptional contributors from centralized world like Google, Microsoft, Nvidia, Intel, etc. What does that mean? What does that mean? Does that mean that they are working with them, or just because they share a market where they're competing and working within the same marketplace, it doesn't make them a partner or anything like that? So we got to be very careful with the wording here, guys. I don't believe that Google, Microsoft, Nvidia is a partner of theirs directly, and they are working with them directly, in my opinion. And there's no clarity anywhere to find that. Okay, so I went on their socials. I went to go look at that, and there's nothing there. So just be careful with the wording here. Decentralized like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that is very true. Right now, we can start thinking about basically Hypercycle being a network that is in direct competition with the Ethereum network. The Ethereum network right now, as a layer one, or even if you consider it a layer zero, if you're building on the Ethereum network, in this case, you may think, where is Ethereum's AI aspect, right? Whereas Hypercycle basically has the AI integrated right into it, as this is a layer one, layer zero type of blockchain. So this is really good. It's almost like it's definitely trying to compete with the Ethereum, right? It's definitely trying to compete with Ethereum and trying to integrate AI in its added value. Let's say its competitive edge would be AI. And guys, that's a very, very important narrative going forward, is integrating AI into the projects that we've been seeing in the last little while. And now we're even seeing it in layer zeros and layer ones. Native to the network, you have AI. So for me, this is really bullish, guys. This is really, really good. You just have to understand that in the ground type of scenarios, right now it's coming from the ground up. It is very difficult for a small project to actually come out flying this way. So we got to give it some time. We got to understand there's going to be a few negatives here, even though it may be a really good bullish project. As a new project, it is going to have some negatives, some red flags that we got to watch out for. So for now, it's about the wording here. Microsoft, Nvidia, Intel, Google, these words shouldn't really be there unless they are directly working with them, and there is no proof of that. Okay, so let's continue. This is a really good video. Guys, take your time, pause it in between, read, try to figure out what it is doing. In fact, it is a very, very, very interesting way of getting the network flowing, okay, through data, through this consensus mechanism. And in this case, the consensus mechanism is very, very interesting. And basically, it is based on reputation. It's a proof of reputation instead of proof of work. The reputation of the node, the reputation of the individual doing the validation are the ones that are going to get the most reward or get chosen, let's say, to actually validate. And that's very important, right? So it's not just being the fastest, it's not just being the one that has the most stake. In fact, it is the one that is the most reliable. So guys, that could bring value into the consensus mechanism, into the whole validation, maybe reducing congestion, because at the end of the day, you want somebody that, or a node or a transaction that is based on how good it is, rather than how much stake it has into the ecosystem, or how fast it is at a given point in time. And then maybe it's not very reliable. Maybe it's fast sometimes, maybe it's fast only a few times. But in this case, it's overall, I think the algorithm here would be overall rating the node for it to actually validate and ensure that you're getting the best performance possible. So for me, this is an interesting idea. I would definitely take a look at this video. A lot to be said here, a lot to be said, and you should be pausing in between. The Sato server with a bunch of Sato servers. Okay, fine. Then we're taking instruction smart contract, which I find, of course, we can have to deploy smart contracts if you want to be competitive. And then data, again, back to that AI, the way AI works, it relies on tons of data. We're going to basically send over these 3 points of reference back into this HYPERCYCLE, they call it. And of course, AI is all integrated. There's an AI machine, like a virtual machine. A lot happening here, guys. Of course, you got to pause and read. In this case, deep dives are very important, but also doing your homework is going to give you that, fundamental bullishness. And then ultimately the output, where if the output gets validated, you start earning. This is where you can start making, basically same way, you're doing your proof of work for Bitcoin, you're getting proof of performance or proof of reputation here, and getting paid for every consensus that you do, right? Validation. So pretty cool. Interesting, huge network, and that's basically what they are trying to achieve here. Multifaceted network. Pretty cool. Okay, obviously there's a lot of literature here that you can go through, a lot of cool statements, a lot of deep thick jargon that you're going to have to kind of get through. And that was one of my main concerns here, is that for a retail investor, they're going to want something a little bit more simplified. And for me, a lot of the times, this type of depth with this type of jargon gets put on a white paper. And if you see the white papers, it's even more next level. And it's clearly written by a programmer, very, very clearly written by some high intellectual people. And you saw the team, they're definitely professionals in their field. So it's expected. It's expected. Okay. So a lot of good analogies here and a lot of good stuff, but competition amongst nodes and corporate results, cooperation often results in emergence of, look at these words, just intense words. Peer-to-peer transactions is what we want to know, and how it works, and all that good stuff. Okay. So I like that it does integrate AI, which is the top narrative, in my opinion, that and the DEX and the couple other ones that are floating around, but definitely AI. We got to keep an eye on that one. Okay, so HYPERCYCLE computational node schematic. Guys, try to make sense of this. This is interesting. This is the way it works. This was that video was trying to explain. They have a little bit of some infographics going on, and definitely feel free to contact. If you have any questions, don't hesitate, reach out. The team is big. They got a Telegram, they got YouTube and all that good stuff. Let's see what else they have here. Participation. So I wish they had the node. Here you go. We got something here. Metamorphically speaking, the node does to AI what web browsers do to humans. That's a bold statement, but I wish they elaborated a little bit more on this, giving a little bit more, like, what does that even mean for a retail investor, and even including myself? That is a very vague, and it needs a little bit more detail there in description. Going forward, again, these dudes are still here, participation, development. This would have been a great place to have some sort of roadmap of some sort, but they just keep on repeating the same links over and over, almost like filling up space, which for me is not really the greatest thing. You're gonna have to use these pages very wisely. You have limited time of attention span for people that are visiting your website, and you're wasting time repeating a lot of the stuff over and over and over. And such a detailed and complex project deserves a little bit more attention. Contacts, again, you're going to see a lot of the repetition again. Look, very, very underdeveloped website with nothing much to offer. Now, the white papers, on the other hand, are so in depth, guys. Like, I'm going to show you a sneak peek. There's a lot of technical jargon, pages upon pages of technical jargon. If you're interested, if you want to know what the deep processes are behind this project, guys, you're gonna have to do your research for a couple of days. But the reality is there's formulas, there's tons of happening. And I don't know even if unless you're planning to go all in and really become a heavy duty investor, you're gonna have to really know what's going on here, of course. But really, the overall idea is good enough sometimes, and that's when we kind of just get in with a DCA strategy. Right now, Hypercycle has a lot of momentum. It's doing pretty good, and the fundamentals are decent. If we continue going on the website, we have some frequently asked questions area. Find the answer to the most common questions. What are the hardware requirements for the node? Again, the node is worth, I think, about $95 or something like that. And then, of course, it's all about purchasing the rights to run the node. So I find that interesting as well. Hardware wise, all you need is a machine. How can I participate in the token ecosystem? Plug and play functionality. It is planned with a next 18 months. Okay, a little bit of a sneak peek of what they're thinking about in the next 18 months. A little bit of a roadmap would be great. Select computing centers are currently collaborating with them. Okay, which is good. HYPC centers. So they got some good things going on. So, sorry, $96. How can I purchase a license? So basically, you get licensed, and then with that license, it includes about 1,024 tokens, and then that way you can get started as a node, as a validator. So which is pretty good. Okay, so interesting. If you're interested in that, go check it out. Um, Budget, again, if depending on how heavy you want to get into it, they have a bit of a roadmap for investors that are in, looking to invest like $100,000. I don't know if you guys are one of those, but go check it out. What is the cost of a node license? Okay, again, the node license, they focus a lot on the business to business, which is interesting. Obviously, I feel very strongly about business to business solutions. Obviously, the retail market is really good, but the business to business solutions bring you some real good gains going forward, especially with AI. I've been looking at other AI projects that are very, very similar in nature with regards to focusing on the business to business solutions. So I find that good as well. So a lot of good stuff here on the website. Bullish overall. And as you can see, as a new project, there's not much happening here. A little bit more of a traditional website giving us good. I also went on their Twitter pages to kind of see if there was any good posts or any updates there. And I've had projects in the past reach out to me telling me that I need to get updated through their Twitter page rather than their website. So that's what I did. And the Twitter page didn't really have much either. Some great marketing, but other than that, nothing really, forward. So that's something we got to consider. Okay, so let's continue here, guys. I prepared this infographic for you guys. If you find it interesting, if you want to get a hold of it nice and early, I'm going to be posting it on the Discord group nice and early, and you guys can go and check out those details. I'll get rid of this thing. What is that? Let's see if I can kind of quickly get rid of that. I have no idea. Boom. I have no idea. Those are previous. Maybe if I zoom, there we go. But then you can't see it all. Okay, hold on, guys. Let me kind of get back into my regular view. Let's see. That helped. All right. So HYPERCYCLE review. It's an overview. Basically, HYPERCYCLE is an innovative project that combines blockchain technology, decentralized finance, DeFi, artificial intelligence. But basically, they want to integrate quite a bit here. And of course, as a layer one, they're going to expect their ecosystem to grow. They're going to expect to have a lot of applications being built on there, including DeFi and all that good stuff. And they have a good partnership with Singularity Net and an already existing ecosystem of protocols, built on an internet protocol called Toda. Go check that out. That is an ecosystem on its own, and it's a decentralized ecosystem. So go check it out. What else do we have here? High speed and cost effective on chain, which is, of course, some of the things that a lot of the layer ones are fighting over, trying to get to be the top dog in that within that narrative. What else? The unique layer zero, of course, is layer zero plus others. Like you can consider a layer one, two. I don't know what they keep on going. And at the end of the day, on the website, they do talk about this aspect, the fact that you can get as low as the layer zero as a base layer and then build upon it, which is, of course, really good. Of course, a lot of use case here as an ecosystem. I find that interesting, and Ethereum does a very similar thing. And I feel like Hypercycle's definitely an Ethereum competitor here, but we got to understand that Ethereum to target Ethereum as a competitor is very, very ambitious. So, of course, some people that are bullish on this project may want to look at Ethereum as a competitor. I'm going to be very, very modest with my analysis here going forward. Blockchain architecture enables Swarm AI, decentralized payments processing. So, of course, we're getting a lot of jargon that relates to a lot of other layer ones. And what's basically differentiating themselves from the others is that they're heavily integrating AI into their base layer, which is important here, guys. AI is definitely going to be the thing of the future. I think that it's going to be one of the major players for the up and coming bull run. So what we should be doing is seeing how some of these projects, some of these teams are integrating AI in their software solution. Then we have the ecosystem. Nothing is built on it. Now I give it a one because of that. That's not a good thing. But on the other hand, we have to understand that the project is new. The project is very, very new, right? The market cap is so low. Market cap is only $28 million market cap. Okay. And nonetheless, when the market cap is nice and low this way, the circulating supply is usually they basically they disclose that themselves. Okay, so that's a little bit of an issue of transparency, but nonetheless, that is the case, right? So we have to understand it is a small market cap. It's only a 28 million, so the project is coming from the ground up, and in this case, the ecosystem don't expect it to be big. Look at other layer ones or other projects like this, other base layers, even Cardano, for example, right? How much do they have built on their ecosystem? So we got to understand that sometimes ecosystems take time to build, and we can't always use it as a negative. But the reality is, when the ecosystem is small and it's not doing anything, there's no confirmations there that this ecosystem has vested interest just yet. Okay, we need the ecosystem to grow to kind of keep on going. So just for the fact that it's new, this is the rating that I gave it, only a 1 out of 10. Okay, so it could change in the future. We got to get this ecosystem going. Utility is great, of course, meant to drive the network. The token utility, it's meant to drive the network. It's a proof of reputation, which I really found great. Something kind of new. It's not a proof of work, kind of proof of work, because you're still going to get compensated for working, but the way you're going to be selected is going to be based on your reputation on the network. The higher reputation you have, the more likely you're going to be selected to basically do that work and get compensated for that work. So very good. It incentivizes individuals to keep a high standard of their basically their validators, a nice and high level standard, and obviously improve the network as a result. This involves selecting the validation based on reputation within the network. The higher reputation, the network nodes are given priority. So those nodes that have high reputation will be given priority. I find that to be great. That's a 10 out of 10 for my book. Roadmap, there's nothing there, unfortunately. No real clear roadmap anywhere. Not on the white papers, not on the website, nowhere. And unfortunately, this is something that needs to be said. Now, one of the arguments could be that this is a fully decentralized platform, but guys, there's a team there. What is this team planning for this project? Even if it's marketing, we want to know, what is this all about? And of course, transparency is key. How much money is going to be allocated to future endeavors? We got to know, what's this roadmap about? No roadmap. However, considering the partnerships and integration of other projects that like the AI, like Singularity Net, I found that to be, maybe a little bit of an indication of where it could be going in the future. But at the end of the day, it needs to have a clear roadmap for itself. So only 2 out of 10 in this case. The team is great, solid, fully doxed. Basically, you can go on LinkedIn and figure these guys out, where their history, where they work, where they, all that good stuff, all the little details with regards to their experience with regards to AI, peer-to-peer networking, blockchain, cryptography, what you name it, it's there. So go check it out. 10 out of 10 to the team. Socials, of course, a lot of the projects have been taking a bit of a beating with regards to socials in the last little while, but at least out of the ones that I've seen, these guys are still pumping tweets out. 91 tweets in the last 30 days, an increase of about 46% in comparison to the previous 30 days. So for me, that's really, really good. However, they are still taking a bit of a beating with regards to the amount of followers they are attracting within the last 30 days. So, coming down just a bit, 462 followers have been reduced since the last 30 days. So for me, still 8 out of 10, still decent. We got to consider the current space that we're in right now, the time frame that we're in. We're in a bear market. People are not really full on crypto just yet. So something to consider. The tokenomics, 2.2% of the current circulating supply is in circulation. Oh, sorry, of the total circulating supply is in circulation. So we have a bunch left that need to hit the market. Okay. Now, of course, just by knowing how its consensus mechanism, proof of reputation, we know that it's very similar to a proof of work. At the end of the day, we're going to get tokens distributed by validation. Nodes are going to validate, they're going to get rewarded, and so on and so forth. But the question is how is this going to be distributed? Is there other factors of distribution? Is the team going to be holding anything? There's no clear statements being made, which for me bothers me. Are there any tokens going to be left behind for marketing or supporting the team or anything? Nothing was said with regards to tokenomics. So for me, that's a bit of a red flag. In fact, I should have gave it a little bit less than 4, but I did give it a 4. There's nothing anywhere on the website or the white papers with regards to revenue or token, any type of tokenomics or token distribution. So clarity, transparency is very, very, very important. The partnerships, I give them 10 out of 10. Of course, the two heavyweights here right now is Singularity Net and Toda. Go check out Toda, because Toda right now could be that transition from bringing a huge net, not necessarily a huge, but a network that already exists into a network that is trying to use AI as the first client base to hit this network, this ecosystem. So very, very important there. The partnerships that already exist in previous networks could be transitioning here into HYPERCYCLE. So great stuff here. 10 out of 10 for me on those partnerships and exchanges. Mexi, Bitmart, Uniswap, PancakeSwap. We got some centralized exchanges, which are smaller. And we have the DEX exchanges, the two heavyweights, which of course are there, but we have our limitations obviously on Uniswap and PancakeSwap with regards to liquidity. But we could talk about this being a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is, as soon as we get listed on some major exchanges, volume hits the market, we can definitely get pumping here. Or we can look at it, at the end of the day, these small exchanges, how reliable are they? That's the issue, right? And access to liquidity is a little bit of a problem. Why? It's because of the volume, guys. So if you go into coin info, you can see the ticker HYPC is the ticker. The price currently is at about 60 cents, give or take. The market cap is only 28 million, so $1 million. Very, very small micro cap type of deal here. Trading volume is a bit of an issue because it only represents 0.26% of the total market cap, which for me bothers me. There's not enough volume here, but it's self-explanatory. The ecosystem barely exists. There is none. So why is there going to be trading volume here, guys? Only $72,000 worth of trading volume in the last 30 days, guys. It needs to get the ecosystem going to actually. But you can see that at the end of the day, what we're trying to see here is that there is potential, but without these confirmations of volume and ecosystem and all of that, it is a riskier deal here. So this is what I'm trying to show you here. We're really early in this project, so early that there's no confirmations. And if you're going to wait for confirmations, you're going to expect to pay a higher price than 60 cents. So this is something to consider here. No trading volume, a little bit risky, cheaper price, obviously. Risk to reward, right? We can apply risk to reward here like we do on the charts. We can do it here on the hypercycle fundamentals. Supply self-reported 47.7 million hypercycles in circulating supply. Guys, that is self-reported. Obviously, there's no confirmations here. You can go check out CoinMarketCap in the next little while to see if they update that status. Max supply, 2.1 billion units are going to be in circulation eventually, and you can see that the current supply is only 47 million units, meaning that we got a ton of coins to hit the market, meaning that we're going to get a lot of sell pressure along the way. We're really, really early here. So this is something also to consider. Sell pressure as tokens, hit the market. Eventually, they do put pressure. Now, understand that the way the tokens hit the market are based on consensus, which means that obviously as the ecosystem grows, we're going to see more use case and we're going to see more utility out of these coins. And at the end of the day, there's going to be people holding. So max supply turns into staked coins maybe eventually. So something to consider though. It is a trade-off. You have a lot, you're in early, you have a lot of supply still left to hit the market. Something to consider. It's only right now it's listed as $1.27 billion as a fully diluted. Guys, I find that to be a bit expensive considering that it's such a huge, such a new project, but it is a layer 0. It is a layer 1 in the sense that, it's an ecosystem, right? It is going to have a lot of tokens in circulation. It is AI right now. So I think it is going to be a bit hyped up. And I feel like right now it's a little bit expensive, but nonetheless, DCing is a perfect strategy. Okay, so my verdict overall, guys, there are a couple little details that I want to kind of scooch over quick. Part of the AI narrative, bonus. That is really good. Finding solutions to problems using AI. No applications built on the network. That's one of my issues. Trading volume is very low and decreasing over time. Bit of an issue there. Website needs to be redesigned to keep retail in mind. Clearly, a lot of big jargon, a lot of big technicals. We got to keep things simple, and you got to also include some of the basic things that every crypto project website should include, like, the overall roadmap. At least give us a roadmap in tokenomics, clear tokenomics, all that kind of stuff. Socials need a bit of work, but still very good considering we're in a bear market. Good partnerships, nothing to be said about that. AI project, AGIX is what their partnership is. And of course, a couple more, so go check those out. Now, when I did my overall price target, I started looking at other layers, solution, layer 1s, layer 0s, and I didn't go for Ethereum. Obviously, going there is not being modest, and I like to be modest. Let's be real. I was even thinking, okay, let's do Cardano. Even Cardano's big. Where are we going to go with what is an easy target? What is an easy target for some easy gains? Let's talk about Near Protocol. Let's talk about DOT. Even if we hit DOT's price target or DOT's market cap, you're looking at a potential $141 token here for HYPERCYCLE. That is big. That's massive considering that we're coming out of, a couple of 60 cents right now. So that looks like a 239x potential here if you look at DOT at its potential target. Now, what about Near Protocol, which is a lot easier to achieve? 50x only, and you're looking at about a $28 token price. So for me, if we would hit anywhere near about $30, guys, I would be taking profit heavily because you know what kind of that's a 50x gain right there. Take profits, trail up those stop losses, expect higher levels perhaps, but at the end of the day, be modest. If you're able to get in at the bottom of the range, slowly scale out around those zones, because that's where you're going to start to see a lot of the layer 1s competing very, very heavily for that top spot. Now, you may say, you know what, this project has AI on its belt, and it does have AI as a value added feature, which I agree. But at the end of the day, it's a very, very competitive space, especially once you get to the top 10, top 20 AI projects. All right, guys. let's take a look at some of this price action. I know you guys want to look at charts, so let's take a look at charts. What's happening here with HYPC is the ticker. In the last little while, we've been getting a nice little rally to the upside. Good strength, good momentum. However, guys, sometimes we got to anticipate that we could get some pullbacks along the way and give us that opportunity to scale in DCA at the bottom of the range. Right now, in the last little while, guys, in the last 4 hours, we've been doing really, really well on HYPERCYCLE. I want to get onto the daily really quick to kind of see what's happening here. Momentum wise, the RSI is fully topped out, basically getting into overbought conditions on the daily. You can see what's happening right here. So this is the perfect time to, in my opinion, perfect time to kind of just wait, either wait for that dip or start, taking profits if you were able to buy in a lot earlier. What I mean by earlier is, imagine if you were a token holder from down here. It doesn't look like a lot, but percentage wise, you're looking at about 100%. You could take your initial investment out and let the rest ride. If you are one of those individuals that bought the bottom of the range at around 30 cents, guys, take profits, take your initial investment out and walk away. If it does dip, at least you have that initial capital to buy the dip with, and buy the dip on this project or any other projects that you're bullish on. But at least you take away the majority of your risk, which is your initial investment. All you'll be doing is playing with house money, which is a very, very critical strategy, especially in a bear market. Look at the MACD, looks like it's kind of getting a bit of weakness, maybe trying to get that rollover happening, but still very early. The EMAs are still facing up, green histogram bars to the upside still. I feel like eventually we should be rolling over. Now, no confirmations yet because we're still creating higher highs and higher lows. We're slightly getting into a consolidation phase here and very much more evident on the 4-hour. The daily is still very bullish. So in this case, you got to be very careful here because we can get a sharp pullback or we can go sideways within the consolidation and potentially get a bull flag for another rally to the upside. So let's look at the 4-hour because I believe the 4-hour is a lot easier to kind of get an edge here. We did get into overbought conditions once, twice, right around this zone. Let's zoom in just a little bit. And for me, that was the time to start looking at charts. We can see that the price action is still kind of going to the upside, excluding wicks. It's still upward sloping. We can kind of tidy that up in a second. You can see we're still upward sloping while the RSI is downward sloping, right? Starting from here to about here, we're still downward sloping. So as long as we don't invalidate this class A bearish divergence, I still feel that we should be careful and expect a bit of a rollover very, very soon. Now, there is no confirmations yet. All we're seeing is a potential rollover based on momentum, losing momentum loss to the upside. The bears, the bulls are losing their strength as they keep on impulsing to the upside, as we see the RSI kind of flipping to the downside, and the MACD is doing a very similar thing. Look at the EMAs facing down, basically coming down, trekking to the downside, and little by little kind of getting to those lower levels. So what I'm expecting is a bit of a bearish price target of perhaps getting down to about 35 cents, more or less. That would be a good target. That would be a decent target. Paying attention at about 43 cents wouldn't be bad either, given that it is the base of this wedge. And sometimes that's where we just get back a nice little retracement down here. And we have the 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart to act as support as well. So it would be looking there. And if you look at the VPVR, we do have a bit of a dip of volume here. And then we kind of pick up the volume below. So we got to understand that this could be a layer, an area of support for the future, right? So right around this zone, I would be looking for profit taking right around here for sure. Looking at profit taking, sorry, not profit taking, maybe buying the dip. And what I would like to do is see the momentum oscillator fully reset first. Okay, you know that's one of my main rules. Let the RSI on the 4-hour get into oversold conditions. If we are close to this yellow line, we could consider buying the dip there. Okay, but if we are not close to it, we are going to let it fall. We're going to let the 4-hour time frame come down to those lower levels. One of the buy opportunity targets for me is right about here, and the next buy opportunity, obviously, guys, has to be right around this zone. Okay, this zone right here, the volume kind of picks up significantly, and we have tops and bottoms to kind of look at here, right around, boom, right around here. That's what I would be looking at, give or take. I wonder what that looks like with Fibonacci. We'll take the swing low, go all the way to the swing high, and we'll kind of look at golden pocket right around here, perfect confluence right here, and then we have the 786, perfect confluence right about here, and of course that 886, guys, we can't ignore it, very close to this whole entire cluster, and it's fair game to always anticipate the worst case scenario, which is down here. And the question is, what are you going to do about it? If it does come down to this level, what are you going to do? Are you going to be buying the dip, or are you just going to be selling your bags? In my opinion, consider the fact that if we do come down here, you got to react. You got to come up with a plan, and most likely, and it should be, factoring in another buy order here at the bottom of the range, because the risk to reward ratio right around this zone is absolutely healthy. This is the last line in the sand. If we break below, all we have is a few low volume wicks to hold the price up. And if we break below, guys, that's it. Stop your losses and get out, because who knows how low we're going to go. Look at that. We can get down to the 1.27. We can get down to the 1.618 extension, but we're not going there just yet, guys. For now, 1, 2, and then maybe 3, and then we're out. And then just wait. DCA, but we got to wait for the overall momentum to fully get down to oversold territory first. And then we'll start scaling in. All right, guys. Thank you for stopping by. If you haven't yet, support the channel by slapping that like button. It does really help out with that algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join that Discord group. Great place, lots of good members, spreading alpha throughout the day, helping each other out, finding setups and technicals and all that good stuff. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.